Okay, so before we even jump into this conversation, this is the Then Everything After podcast with your boy Amax.
Chantal.
And Frank, aka the King of Trainers. How are we doing, guys?
Hey, it's been a while, guys.
Yes.
All is well.
Yes, it is good. How are you guys? Talk to me, man. What have you been up to? It's been a little while now, so I'm curious to know what you've been up to. Let's share. It's sharing.
I'm going to let Fab go first. Go on, mister.
Nah. Come on. Well, I don't know if you've seen. I just did a campaign with JD Sports and Nike for the new Muta Zero tracksuit. That campaign featured like a little lookbook, which was nationwide in all their stores. So yeah, that was pretty much been what I've been up to.
That is
definitely more than pretty big, but yeah, absolutely fantastic.
You know what? Let's we have to round of applause that, man. We have to round of applause that. You know why?
I'll do it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Not every day that regular people like us get opportunities like that. Yeah. So it says something. It says something about the grind that you've been putting in and the fact that consistency is real. I don't care what anyone is saying. Consistency is the most real thing on the planet.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Yeah. So that's really what's been happening. I mean, apart from that, it's really been. I've just been grinding like consistently. I've been doing a few things. I can't really say it too much on the podcast at the moment, but I've been really putting some building blocks into place. So in the next week or two, we can start to talk about those things.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope, man. How about you, Sash?
Oh God, what have I been doing? It's nowhere near as exciting as Fab. I'm telling you now. Yeah, I've literally just been doing my coaching and enjoying my life coaching and getting to know my clients and just trying to work how to expand the business more and just getting used to this new normal of working from home. Like I'm at home every single day. And it's not this is not me. This is not what I've done. I'm always out. So it's been a very big the last few weeks have been a bit intense, but I'm trying to get used to this. So yeah.
So
that's it. Simon, what about you?
Oh, me? Well, before we even get into me, I was going to ask you, so like with the coaching side of things where it's been remote, I know like even before all of this, it's not unusual to coach remotely, but then it would mean that wouldn't some of those relationships have been formed online rather than then, you've met people in person or someone's been referred. There's, it's a bit different. It's like everything is happening online. How do you find that, like that process of...
You know what? It's better. It's better. It's been absolutely amazing. I never thought that I could make this really work, but every coaching relationship I've formed has been online. And each person who started with a month's coaching have expanded and gone to 3 months coaching. It's all been based on just doing it online on the computer. It's like being in the same room as somebody. I think I'm in the same room as you two, even though we're like
I get
segmented. But yeah, I still feel very close. And it's the same thing with coaching. It doesn't change anything. As long as your Wi-Fi connection works, all is well.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Makes perfect sense. And I heard what you said, obviously, in regards to just trying to adjust to the fact that everything is seeming to happen from home. How do you feel how is that like, what effect do you feel that's had on you as a person in terms of if you'd had the regular kind of freedoms that you had, say, the year before, what differences would you say that you found with it being the way it has been?
I don't really know. I wish I could actually say that. I launched the coaching part of my business during lockdown. So I can't really say what it would be like if it was off and it was not in lockdown situation. I'd like to think it would be a bit more interactive and we'd have more expression and so forth. But really and truly, I'm so happy it started in this way. And for me, I'm going to offer it as a service. So when we are back out in the world, it's still going to be an option. I was going to do it only face-to-face, but now I feel like this is a big thing and this is going to be a much more better way to reach people internationally. So yeah, I'm very much happy this happened. Even though it's been a hard time, it's been a good time for me. And I got to say that, like it has been.
I love that, man. I love to hear that. That's what I'm talking about, man. Okay, so you asked me what I've been up to. To be honest with you, I've been taking little opportunities to rest. I've never had an opportunity like this before to just kind of do things in the hours, as long as they get done, do them in the hours of my choosing to a degree. So because of that fact, I've been taking the opportunity to actually go back and do things that I was neglecting, like my reading. So I've been doing a lot of things like, basically I did some research into, let's say you've got a whole bunch of books that you want to go through. And you're on limited time. And if you're anything like me, you start a book and you don't finish it. Meaning if you've got a plan to get through 7-8 books, you start the first one, you get put off as you get to the second, third or fourth chapter, unless it's really interesting. And then that's the end of your reading journey until you come back. What I've done...
That's it,
yeah, like what I've had to do is adopt a different way. So I just set a timer now and I've got my 7 books there and I just do 10 minutes on each book. And then I note down what I learned from, like, my main core learning from the book that I read, whether it's for learning or for pleasure. And I move on to the next book. And I do that. And I try and do that religiously every single day. And I found I'm actually remembering more what I've read. And not only remembering what I've read, but actually being able to think about it in my day-to-day life because I'm getting it in small chunks.
Got you.
So, yeah, I don't know. There's something to be said about it. I've taken a different approach, but so far so good. So been doing that and just really trying to knuckle down on this whole making content for people and making sure that I'm thinking about them and who they are and their needs, and really trying to assess who I'm talking to, which is the whole kind of street levels thing that I've been doing, like with the music side of things. It's really just knuckling down.
Can I just say, Simon, the street level stuff has been very good recently, you know, like the editing, everything has been like up there. I see you. You've been doing more than reading books. I'll tell you that now.
I'm trying, man. I'm just trying. I'm looking at you two, and I'm being inspired, and I'm just pushing forward. That's pretty much it, to be honest.
A nice one.
And then other than that, I think the strange thing, the beauty of this weird situation that we're in is I'm talking to my children more. Yeah, I'm talking to them a lot more. And it wasn't that I wasn't talking to them before, but now it's more, there's less for me to be distracted by. So when I'm talking to them, they've got my complete undivided attention. Gotcha. So that's been a beautiful thing because I feel like I'm really getting to know who they are as people, as opposed to they're my children and I'm just making sure that they've got a roof over their head, etc. Now I'm actually getting to know who they are and getting to appreciate their personalities as people. So, yeah.
I like that.
That's good.
I like
that. That's good.
Yeah, I'd say that's
Have you found the same thing, Fab?
Yeah. I mean, my son, because I mean, I have my son on, he's got 2 weeks half term. Nice. So I have him like with me, like even right now I have him. Yeah, like he's only 6, but you know, just kind of understanding him more, being around him a lot more. It's it's you know, it's interesting. It's interesting, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I've been talking to my future child, you know, I've been letting him or her know that how things are going to run, you know, adapt to this kind of way of life you may have to adopt in the future, that kind of stuff. I've been having that conversation. So a lot of soul searching. So yeah, watch this space.
Very, very important stuff.
Good stuff. Are you making hints?
No, don't worry. No, I'm not. When I am, you'll know. Okay. You'll all know. I'll expect gifts, so it's okay.
Of course. Come on.
That's right. Godparents.
Yeah, no doubt. Come on.
I appreciate that.
All right. So let us get into the topics of discussion, and the spotlight today is on you, Sasha, because I know that you have some stuff that you've been looking at that you wanted to share with us. So, yeah, if you'd like to take the mic.
We're going to be surprised by what I want to talk about. And even though it's quite old news, I want to look at it in a different perspective.
Okay.
And that is that whole Stormzy and Chip thing that's been going on. I think it's for the young uns. It is their our generation, but I still think that the young ones are getting very excited about this, like the 21-year-olds, and that they're getting really like hyped about it and whatever. But I was looking at different response videos on YouTube, right? And the perspective that people are holding about the whole situation and waiting for him to do his retaliation and come back and whatever. And I put a comment under some video, I've got to find it, and I basically said, I don't feel like Stormzy is going to retaliate or respond.
No.
I don't think he had any intention to respond. And it all seems like, to me, my perception of it is that now he's at a certain level, he can start an issue, but he doesn't have to actually complete it because he's at a higher plateau. He's like signed, he's making loads of money. So I think he did it to make Chip respond and to create all his diss tracks, because it's very old school, but he's now new school and don't have to do that. And I think he's done it on purpose to show him up. And that's what I was thinking. The person was like, no, that's not true. He's going to have a comeback soon, but I don't think so. Sorry, I don't. I think it's all very much mind games and just wanting something to happen, but he knew full well he weren't going to carry it forward. That's what I feel. I don't know what your views on that, but yeah, that's my interpretation of the whole situation.
I mean, what was it that made you kind of, I guess, go down the school of thought of he is where he is and it was just to trigger Chip and get on with his life? Like, what was it specifically that made you think that?
All right. There's a saying, I'm not sure how accurate this saying is. Maybe you can help, like, guide me. But it's a thing that my mum always tells me, that they want you to be great, but not they want you to be good, but not better than them. I think is what it is. And it's like, I know that Chip, in terms of battle rapping and like going head to head with people, is really good. And I feel like he would kill Stormzy. That's my opinion. That's what I've always felt. But I feel like because Chip was signed on a big label and then it kind of came and it got dropped or whatever, I feel like Stormzy rubbing it in his face a bit and be a bit like, well, I'm still signed, I'm doing really well and you're not. And I feel like that's what he did, like kind of took him out of his burrow and then like pushed him back down there again. And I feel like in the world at the moment, there's a lot of that whole competition, which looks friendly and looks fun, but it's not. Where people, they want you to do good, but not better than them. And that could be your friends in your circles that you deem as being your brothers and sisters who want you to do good, and they say they do and they support you, but on the sidelines, they're not for you. And that's all I think about. The whole situation makes about a bigger picture about who do we have in our circles right now, and who do we have that's working on our side, who we think's on our side, or who respects what we do, but secretly are our secret hater, who want us to fall, who don't want us to get up. And I'm sure you two can both relate to that on your journey, the different things you've tried to do, and people have been there saying you're great, but then down the line you may have found out they were never for you. I know them two were not friends, but they used to get on and talk and whatever. And down the line something's happened, and I feel it's much deeper in entertainment. I think relationships have got severed in a more personal way behind the scenes. But you make it all fun and glamorize it because it's like entertainment value. But deep down, things go on behind the scenes that no one knows or sees. And I feel like we can all relate to that, entertainment or outside of that. We all have that situation where we have people for us who we think are for us, but they want us to fall and they want to show us up. So, and it's about being careful about those people around us.
Do you think, sorry to like butt in, but it's just because something you said made me think. You said that obviously it looks like it goes deeper than music. Do you think that video that was circulating of Stormzy showing up at, don't know, Chipmunk's house or girlfriends or wherever that was, with whoever that was talking in the background, do you feel that maybe that, like, what's your view on that situation? Because I have a view on it, but I'd be curious to know what yours is. And yours as well, Fabs.
I don't know. I mean, I want to hear your views first, and let me see if we're on the same page on this. I've got a view on it, but yeah, I feel like let me show it after. You go.
Fabs or myself? Or?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the with this situation, it's a bit close to home because I actually know the real reason why there's a little passer. I don't think it's my place to say here, but I have heard directly from someone right next to both of them the reasons and stuff. But I'll give you some background. It's really like as someone comes up in the music industry, there's always going to be someone that supersedes. People have to understand, someone like Chipmunk has been doing this since like 12, 13, 14 years old. Yep. And he has been one of our biggest exports. He's had an international #2 tune with Chris Brown, one of the biggest songs of that year when it came out. You know, he's been overseas. He's done tunes with Meek Mills and all these different people, and he's reached that kind of pedestal. Yeah. But then what happens is he's been in the game a long time. Yep. You know, what maybe 15 years plus years. And then someone comes in the game who's been in the game probably about 5 years, and then they supersede everybody in the scene. And then they get to the place where they're actually headlining Glastonbury, you know. So to headline, remember, the headline Glastonbury off one album has never been done before, you know. So that goes to show that he's kind of, Stormzy's come in and he's really kicked down all the doors, a lot of doors that a lot of these rappers and MCs hadn't done beforehand. Not because they couldn't, it's just that it's a different time. So with that said, the game is very competitive, and I know Stormzy has said some lyrics like the best in grime and rap. Yep. And that was what I would say personally was Chipmunk's position, because Chipmunk was good in grime and rap, and probably the best in both. You know, who actually does both types of music. So I think there's a lot of peer ego situations and stuff there. Okay. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. In terms of the visiting of the house, I do know why that happened. I'm not going to delve into that here because I don't want the hate to get really Joe. But I do. You know, from what I was told. I mean, to be fair, I don't know why that happened. Let me just clarify. I don't know why that happened, but I was told the reason why it happened. So I don't know what was going through Stormzy's mind. But all I want is whatever happens with this situation, I believe Chipmunk has thrown some really heavy shots in terms of the tracks. But I believe that, like what Sasha's saying, in terms of Stormzy retaliating, I don't know if he will as well. I don't actually know if he will. I don't think because he needs to. I guess sometimes when you don't retaliate, you kind of, it depends. It's a bit like the whole Drake Pusha T battle, isn't it? Like Drake had some real serious bars, but he said, you know what, he spoke to a few OGs, said I'm going to leave it. And it's kind of, and now Drake's kind of the big artist, you know. I mean, but let's be honest, Drake's always going to be the big artist, compared to anybody. Yeah. But I think Stormzy's, but he's not going to, the thing about Stormzy's going to reply, but he's not going to reply now. He's 100% going to reply. That's, he's not going to let, but he's going to reply in his way, maybe when he's got a product coming or when he's got something happening or, but he's definitely going to reply. Not now though, but he's 100% going to throw something the way of Chip.
I'm glad you said that in regards to the waiting until he's got something in the works. Yeah. Because obviously, if you think about it, logically, when Wiley sent for him, that was a different situation because that was an opportunity for him to kind of close the conversation of him making the statement that he's the king of grime, because it was widely accepted before that clash that Wiley was the king of grime. Yeah, regardless of who else is a better lyricist or not better or better sound or whatever, it's how much of an impact Wiley's had on the grime scene and what he's done and what he's carved out, and the fact of taking ownership of, before it was called grime, no one had a name for it, scene. Wiley ran with it as it was and kept and insisted that it needed to be built upon. So that kind of made sense. Whereas I look at the Stormzy and Chipmunk situation and think, like you said, it only would make sense if Stormzy had something specific to gain out of it. Just clashing someone because they clashed him doesn't necessarily do that for him. Yeah, if that makes sense. And I question that video where where Stormzy showed up at the house. Like I said in a comment somewhere, that I feel like that was probably an older piece of footage, and it was probably a visit where he just visited Chipmunk. And
No,
when he left,
it was no. Just to clarify, it was serious. That was actually the second time that day he went.
Serious to me, yeah.
It's a very serious situation. We could discuss it off the blog. I mean, I know the juice. I know people want the juice.
Yeah.
But I have to break down the situation to you guys so you understand. But we can't. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
So just to clarify, it was an actual serious situation, serious enough
Indeed.
for him to try and show up.
Well,
in that kind of way.
To be honest, I'm going to be honest. I don't think someone of his caliber should have himself in that predicament.
That's why I don't think
someone of Stormzy's. Yeah, I don't think someone of his stature needs to do that anymore. You know, he's too successful to do that. But because it could have got very worse for wear. So, but he didn't have to do that. But it was serious.
But do you guys think that it's because, you know how we say you don't have to do that because you're at a certain level now? Only because you're on a certain level doesn't mean that you level up.
No, you don't.
I want to punch
people in the face all the time. Yeah.
Like,
I want to run.
Do you know that humble part of you where, like, from what I can see, he looks very humble to me. I watched a show about him the other day where he worked at some charity and he helped paint young boys' houses. I don't know if anyone saw it.
Yes.
Yeah. And for me, it felt so real and it felt so authentic, and I feel like it truly is. So in that sense of like, he doesn't have to do that because it's on a different level now. Yeah, he is financially and musically, but as a person, he's probably still thinking, I'm arguing with this person, I'm going to their house. That's the end of it. He's not seeing like why.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And he's definitely entitled to that, to defend himself as a man, first and foremost. But you have to understand the dynamics of, like, for me, like, it's the same thing with me. Like, when I get attacked, I want to go to these people's houses. I find these people's addresses really quickly. It's easy for me. However, I'm very aware that it could turn into a very serious situation where you could lose a lot of things. And Stormzy's got more things than me. So I'm just seeing it like that. Like, he is one of our biggest exports. You know, I was speaking to my friend earlier, and he's headlining Rolling Out Europe. He's headlining, I mean, like, he's headlining Glastonbury. Like, he is a superstar. Maybe not mega star yet, because he still needs to break America, but he's a superstar in the UK's eyes. What we have to also remember is that it's always, let me, sorry to slow the tone, but as black young men, hello? Sasha, you froze.
Am I? No, I'm here.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, no, as black, you're there, you froze a bit. As black young men, we need to demonstrate resistance and suppress our egos. Yeah, because you never see, like, for example, I've never seen, if I'm honest, like McFly roll up to someone. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen. I don't want to bring it to race, but I've never seen a white counterpart going to someone's house in that manner, or it being this type of beef where you can't just keep on lyrics.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think back in the day, there was what's the group Noel Gallagher was in with his twin brother or brother?
Yeah, Blur and Oasis.
Yeah, I remember that.
Blur had their thing, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you think that's because it doesn't happen, or that someone doesn't get their mobile phone out and film it and then show it to other people?
That's true. That could be true.
Let's not think that people hasn't gone to... McFly could have easily went to Busted's house, or went to their studio, but it's not in their... It's not a way of being, and it's not a race thing, but in a way it kind of is, where they would film something and then put it out knowing that it would have an effect on that community, or that, you know... But we do that. We do that to each other. We quickly film something and share it.
Without thinking
about the implication of it. Because who filmed it? Wasn't it the girl that filmed it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't have to share that.
Yeah.
That's a choice. Like, she wants to let everyone know that Stormzy came to Thingy's house.
Yeah,
It's very
she was clout
disrespectful.
chasing.
She didn't have to do that.
She was clout chasing.
I don't think. I think you have to.
Because
it wasn't clout chasing, but you have to. You have to hear the full.
It clout chasing.
No, you have to hear the full.
You know why I say that? You know why I say it? Because okay, so you recognise that Stormzy showing up at your building. He's not showing up for everybody. He's showing up to see Chipmunk. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You've seen him with a bunch of people in black in Essex or wherever the hell that was. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You've decided that was. Think about it. If I'm talking to you about something, why am I filming you? The only reason I'm filming you and then posting it on my social media is to let people know that you were there. Yeah?
No, but that's the thing that she... No, sorry, Simon. She didn't post it on social media.
So how did that get out like that?
No, she didn't. No. That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe we might have to pause the recording for me to tell you what actually happened. Right. Because...
Right.
Yeah, no, she didn't. No. It wasn't... Yeah, no. That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I have to probably tell you guys what happened and then we can continue. Because
I get what you're saying. I don't care about whether it's her or someone else. Yeah. I just feel like we can't say that McFly and Buster didn't have that happen to them.
No, it's true.
We can't say that One Direction and whoever else, The Wanted, didn't have that happen. We can't say that. And because we haven't seen the footage, don't mean it never happened. Yeah. So that's my take.
I do know it was, I think, Robbie Williams and Noel, they got into something. They got into a couple of fights. Yeah, I know
they definitely did.
But I mean, in terms of rolling up someone's house, maybe you're right. But no, you know what it is, Sasha? It's just that whether it happened or not, why is it with us as black people, it's always gets exposed in that way? Does that make sense? Like, to the point that it's always out there, you know? But I mean, you know.
I know what you mean. I know what you know.
Can we quickly pause for a second so I can tell you what actually happened?
All right, then cool. We're going to pause. We're going to come straight back because I need to know what's going on. Okay. All right, hold on.
Cool.
Okay, so I stand corrected. No clout chasing.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, I can't share nothing, but sorry. You were saying about the situation with the game and the fact that there's an issue with the way maybe people inside, artists within the industry look at Stormzy and the position that puts him in as a person, the strain that probably puts on him as a person.
When you say the strain, what, because of how well he's done and how role model platform
it's strange to know that everywhere you show up, there's people that you've looked at and you've idolized yourself and you've been a fan of and you've respected, and they don't want anything to do with you. They'll do the fake smile thing, but they actually don't like you because of where you've taken it to career-wise.
Your success.
There has to be a level. Like, yes, he's obviously strong-minded, because if he wasn't strong-minded, he wouldn't be where he is. Mm. It isn't luck that he got to where he is, but at the same time, there's got to be a level of, like, so maybe strain's not the right word, but like there's a certain level of pressure that's put upon him based on that fact of those relationships.
Isn't that an expectation when you get to a certain level that you're going to have that?
Yeah, but you don't expect it to be that pretty much everybody hates you.
I don't know about that. Fab, I'm going to ask you, right? The past few weeks, you've had a lot of, let's say, months. I've been on your feed. I've been seeing the different things. You know, you've been very outspoken about, Black Lives Matter. You've been very outspoken about, the inequalities in the trainer industry. You've been saying your bits, right? And from that, you've got so many people feeling very free to put comments on your profile, which some are very shocking, the things that they say. So, but I'm sure, did you not entertain this idea and know, no matter how much you prepare, it's going to affect you, but does it, when you got to a certain point where you knew you were getting somewhere, did you expect that to happen? And by expecting it to happen,
yes,
because you preempted it, do you feel you deal with it better because you preempted it happening?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good question. I definitely feel I knew it was going to happen. I kind of expected it because, you know, back in the day when I was not so polished and I was making money doing other things, I made quite a bit, and I realized the streets have a certain way when you're successful of telling you, you know, you can't be too out of reach. Do you get what I mean? But what I realized is, you know, and I spoke to one of my friends about this, is the name The King of Trainers is so hard for people to digest. So no matter how successful I become, there's always going to be someone that just doesn't like it. So they're going to find a way to, you know, to throw shots and stuff like that. But I mean, to be fair, it always will affect you. You know, if I say it hasn't affected me, I'll be lying. You know, I do have thick skin and I can look past it. But sometimes I just want to do what Stormzy does and roll up someone's house. You know, but it does affect you. You know, I definitely feel that there's no need for hate because I'm outspoken, but I'm not attacking anyone. I don't attack. You see even my comments, you won't see me attack people. I'm not trying to attack people. I defend myself. Yeah. And in the minute I defend myself, that's when people will want to come. But so you kind of damned if you do and damned if you don't, to be fair.
Okay.
But you just have to be true to yourself in how you defend. And sometimes people were shocked. I remember when I was defending myself over a few trolls, I remember one of my friends says, "Frank, has your account been hacked?" Because I was saying some very hurtful, nasty things.
I remember this.
And I'm like, that's how I am. And he was like, "Oh, really? This me? Yeah, this is me, innit? This is the real me. It's just you look the nice glossy guy, but I'm really from the place where people are scared to
get a box in the mouth. Like, just remember that. Like, so, there's politeness, there's business professionalism, but then there's the person who built, from who they are at the core. Yeah. And a lot of people forget that. Don't you find that though? Like, people take your professionalism. I was going to say kindness, but people take your professionalism for weakness.
Oh my God, yeah.
Indeed, all the time.
Do you know what that makes me think of? I can't get the vision out of my head. There's two certain incidents where I can remember that back in the day, right? So you know when Eric Cantona literally fly kicked that person?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was there weren't memes in those days, really, but there was like videos being made of like replaying it and action forwarding it and all kind of stuff, right? It's you, Fab, it's you.
Oh no, what's wrong with the internet?
You got your hand in your head like that, like you're posing for the camera.
5 minutes later.
Sorry.
All right, you're back.
I'm back. Yeah, sorry. My internet.
So that thing, with Eric Cantona, right? Obviously, back in those days, there was two sides. Those who condoned it and said, look, if that was me and they were being racist to me and whatever else, I'd do the same thing. And then obviously there were those who said, no, he should have known better. He should have done this and done that. And then I thought about that politician, is it Prescott? And that person was thrown.
When he punched the man.
And he punched them,
and that
right?
was a beautiful punch.
And it's like, this is you're battling with your human condition, but it's not only ego. In us, there's two sides to everybody. And we put on different masks in front of different people, but some days their masks slip if people keep pushing and pushing and pushing. We don't condone it, but it's a part of being human,
and
that's what it is.
You're right. I definitely think people do need a slap in the face sometimes.
Yeah,
just so that it's like you have to set the example for other people to know, not to test you. Do you get what I mean?
Will Smith and that man when that guy came and just randomly kissed him on the red carpet.
Yeah. But Will Smith could have slapped him. Will Smith could have slapped him a lot harder, though. He could have slapped him a lot harder.
He could have, but he slapped him enough. That's enough of a slap for someone to wake up. Remember where you are. Remember who I am.
This is it. And speaking of that, that's probably what Stormzy wanted to try to say to Chip. Remember who I am. I am. You know, bringing it back to what we're discussing, and it literally is that. It's who do you think you are? Like, but my take on it is we as bloggers, we as content creators, we need to really speak out and say, guys, please keep it peaceful. Do you get what I mean? Like, you know, there's so many pages that jump on just sharing the negative rather than saying, guys, like, if it's going to be lyrical, we like the lyrics, we like the warfare, but keep it on wax. You know, keep it like Jay-Z and Nas, not like Biggie and Pop. You know, we don't want any type of situation like that. We want a Jay-Z and Nas situation where you guys wax on, you know, you go back and forth, and then maybe you guys might be friends, maybe you might not. Do you get what I mean?
Listen, even Game and 50 made peace.
Yeah, you know.
And that was a big
Chip
deal.
and
Like,
Malone.
a lot of people, exactly, Chip and Bugsy Malone. We saw pictures of them together. There's a picture of Game and 50 Cent in a club talking to each other. Like, it just
but did any of them come up to anyone's houses? I mean, that's a whole nother...
Well, with the Game and 50 Cent situation, people were shooting at people in studios.
That was big. That was a different...
Yeah, people were being stabbed at in studios, shot at in studios. It was so deep that I think there was a whole press conference within the hip-hop industry to force them to be peaceful with each other. They were forced to be peaceful. So, I don't know, man, like, I'm just, it makes you have to appreciate that those people who take the whole no days off approach, you got to take your hat off to them. That just maintain being unaffected and just disconnected from what people are saying and defending their way. Because that, like, for me, I can't always avoid what people are saying. That, like, all I can do is just try and go offline and disappear for a little bit until I'm calm. Someone showing up at my house, I don't know. I can think of a situation where someone showed up at my house. We don't talk. And the reason we don't talk is because that's the only way I can make peace with it. Do you get what I'm saying? That's the only way that I can make peace with it, because as a person, I'm not looking for that sort of stuff. Like, I'm a grown-ass man. I got kids, family. But if you show up to my house and we're behaving like we're kids and you're coming to my house like that's acceptable, you're going to throw me into a strange space that I'm not comfortable being in. So the only way that I could deal with that is distance. So imagine distance, but then you're still one person sending diss tracks for the person, and it's keeping that whole that energy, that dark energy alive. Because you got to think about it. If I'm showing up at your house, it's dark energy.
Yeah, indeed.
If I'm looking to do something, irrespective of the fact of whatever, however it looks, because obviously I don't know I do, I'm not going to go into it, but however the situation is, and then there's diss tracks happening, that stops it from being peaceful. You get what I mean? Yeah, like, yes, Chipmunk hasn't sent EFA level tracks for Stormzy, but they are bad enough if you think of it in this landscape. You know, and all the references, like the amount of reaction videos there are, like even I had to jump in on that action. Try and dissect it from my own angle, but there's that. There's all the blogs speculating on it. There's people creating stories that are and are not, like, bare different versions of events. People making it take on a different life. There's Wiley in the background kind of chirping in, saying, if you don't send, I'm going to send for you, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know, man. I hope that this situation, despite everything, flips into somehow something promotionally positive for both artists.
Indeed.
But isn't it that, though? You know, I had, like, my mum talk about it with me. She doesn't care about these people.
Wow.
That's, you know what I mean? Like, we had this conversation. She saw it. People that don't even pay attention to this are seeing it. So actually, at the moment, it could be seen as a positive, because it made me go and find Chip's Fire in the Booth 5 years ago. I was sitting there watching that. I was like, what's he doing? You know, and I wanted to go and find out a bit more about how he, you know. So for me, I think it opens up the doors in a positive way as well. It's not all bad. A lot can be taken from it. There's obviously two sides to everything, but I do feel there are people who didn't pay attention to the industry before, and now they are. It was in mainstream sites, it was conversation, you know, and it's, you know, it's all part of popular culture at the end of the day. Just hopefully it's managed properly so it doesn't escalate and become a messy situation for everybody involved. That's how I see that.
That is very, you know what? I love that. That's true. You know what? I think America play that game very well. And I feel like we are getting to a point where we are playing that game and it's starting to happen more. Yeah. Like, how much of it is game and real is, like, debatable, but the fact of the matter is, more people than before are up on the kind of industry politics, meaning that people are paying a keener eye to what's going on. So, which is great, because it puts artists in a position where we might start to see Jay-Z's, Diddy's, Baby's, flipping Master P's of you, like, from here. Like, that's where it needs to get to for art, like hip hop culture here, grime culture, drill culture, whatever, like Afro beats, Afro swing. Like, I think getting to that place will be a beautiful thing, and maybe this helps towards that. I don't know. What do you both think?
Yeah. I think America's a different ball game. America, we have to kind of look at America's dynamic is so distant. So you can cuss somebody in New York and be living in LA, bit like the whole Biggie and Pac thing.
Yeah.
But the thing with America is it's a different dynamic, but it's more violent. So if I'm honest, America's still in a place where people can carry guns, and you get what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so it's America know how to do it well if they know it's entertainment. If people don't know it's entertainment, then it can get very messy a lot quicker. And to be honest, in the 90s, it was all about, everyone was fighting. Do you get what I mean? Everyone was like fighting. Everyone was going through that. Yeah, I'm running up to your area of neck of the woods. Even Fat Joe said that Biggie came to his local hangout with a Tech 9, like a Mac 10. Yeah. So it you know, their dynamic is a lot different. I think now with social media, the unfortunate thing is anyone who does something is going to go up. It doesn't matter if you think it's hidden. Once you do something bad in any respect, any artist, whatever, someone somewhere is filming. Do you get what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter even if you do it in your house, someone somewhere is filming.
Well, listen, even that there was an incident where Skepta was in his car and a drill artist pulled up like by the side of him, recognized him, and then started disrespecting him in his car, and then put it on Snapchat or his Instagram story or live or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
And so that became, and then Skepta sped off. But obviously that the artist has kind of spun it in their favor, like, you don't want it, etc., etc. That kind of energy.
Is that video out?
Yeah, it was on. You know what? If I find it,
I saw this.
If I find it, I'll put the link in the description, and I'll share it with I'll share it so that you.
When was this?
See it. This was a good few months ago. But
let's be honest, Skepta's too big to get into. He's in a Rolls Royce. Like, I'll be honest. If I'm driving a Rolls Royce, I don't want it. I don't want no problem. I've got a Rolls Royce. My family's good. My life is good. I don't want no problem. I'm speeding off too. Exactly. I don't want you just because what we have to also realize, even now, like, you know, I'm doing okay, but if the beef comes where it's pointless, I'm not involved, because these young kids, you have to understand, these kids will just shoot you and take your life for nothing.
Yeah.
So I'm not just hang around to be like,
find out.
You know, I'm a macho man, and you catch them another time. But if he felt in a vulnerable position, he's in a Rolls Royce. Just go. Like, no, don't wait around.
Is that because he's in a Rolls Royce and he's like figuring out, like, thinking about whether is it worth it, or is it because his ego is in check? Because it's all
maybe.
back to that
I think
again.
it's a bit of both. I think it's a bit of both, because he's at the level where if he gets caught out in the streets, one of these kids can really, like, if you don't know who the dual artist is, he could have a gun in his car. Do you get what I mean?
Well,
like,
Just
you
to
know,
clarify, this was
Mhm.
an artist called A1 from the Nine. So I understand that it's something to do with the fact that obviously Skepta's from Tottenham, and I think this A1 from the Nine is
Edmonton, yeah, okay, I've heard about that.
so
Yeah,
it's
I've
that
heard
whole
about that
kind
type
of
of
North
stuff. Yeah,
London
yeah, yeah,
politics.
yeah. Okay, I understand. I get it now. But to be
Obviously,
honest,
Skepta's far past that. But
yeah, and that's what it is. And that's what it is. To be honest, like if that's the case, and it's a local beef. I'm in. I have. I used to. I grew up in Tottenham, so I understand the mechanics of that. So yeah, to be honest, I'm speeding off too, man. I don't want no one to just catch me at the lights. It's not a. People have to understand. This is not a. It's not even a. It's being a sissy. It's about being a man and being more responsible. That you've got a family, you've got a child. Why am I gonna hang around? Like, what is the? Do you know what I mean? Oh, exactly. I'm strong, and then someone pulls out a gun and shoots me. No, I want to live. I'll catch him another time. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm probably that's what Skepta was thinking anyway. Like,
it's about choosing your battles, though. I think with age, we say that with age will come maturity, and I think part of that is that you can't argue and fight and stop and and deal with everybody. And that everyone that comes and throws something at you, you throw it back. You have to choose your battles wisely, and if it's not going to benefit you, it's better to walk away.
Well, there's never a benefit to beefing with anybody, to be honest. Exactly. Let's be real. Let's be 100. Yeah, forget this whole entertainment stuff. There is never any real intrinsic value in beefing somebody. Yeah, everybody loses from that experience. Rep is so short-lived. Yeah, you know how many people I've known who their whole rep was governed by who they beefed and what beef they had. Now where are they?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. True. So it don't really mean squat. It's just the difference is I think with youngers, from what I'm understanding, from the conversation I'm having with people. What it is that maybe there's a generation before that are responsible, like even our generation are kind of responsible because the ones that were on that stuff glamorized a lot about that lifestyle without really giving any explanation, disappearing off and doing time. These youngers were out on roads, they didn't really know the ins and outs of the issues, and to assert themselves in this space, they've gone straight to killing. Yeah? Forget what the purpose of why that older was doing what they were doing. This person now, it's like, you're not welcome here. You're dead if you come here. Back in the days, it's a beef if you come here. It will get serious, but is someone definitely gonna? It's like, is the objective to kill that person? I don't think before that wasn't the objective. No. That generally was. You'd have the odd person who that was their objective, and they were known for that, and like a lot of people would give that person a wide berth, unless they had to be working with that person. Yeah. But now it's just it's a sad part of a society who are being raised more by a failed system than they are by their own family and parents and community. Like, it's just mad, like looking at what's happening. So you can only understand why, like you said, when Skepta is in the car, why you just go? Yeah? Versus making that into something, parking up the car somewhere and getting it just doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
Way too much to lose, and being very aware of what he's got to lose. The other person, for them, if they're filming it and doing that, for them, they're seeing it as a gain.
Exactly.
So one person's seeing it as a gain, the other person's seeing it as a loss. This Stormzy Chipmunk thing, I think if Chipmunk keeps going in this direction, I don't know whether this is going to be a win or an L. Career-wise.
I think he's done enough, personally.
I feel like he should stop here.
Yeah, I think Chip's done enough. I don't think he has to put out anything until Stormzy replies, because Stormzy will reply.
I'll react. Let's just be real. If Chipmunk drops something, I will react to it. Yeah, because he's a lyricist and I appreciate lyricism.
He's done.
But, and I would love to just see Stormzy just do it lyrically. Yeah, I'd love to see Stormzy do it lyrically, but everything points to him not.
Nah, he's gonna do something smarter. Like he will do something smarter. He's got time to think about it. He's got the money. He's gonna do something a little bit smarter. So whatever he does, it's gonna trend. Like, this is the thing. Like, I think he's now he's kind of in a good position because whatever he does, we're all going to watch it. Yeah. We're all going to watch it. We're all going to comment on it. And it's all eyes on him now. He can win or lose this battle, whatever he does.
Yeah.
He can win or lose this battle. You know,
I was going to say something to you before, because I know we're running low on time now. We've gone over a little bit, but I was going to say, have you not noticed that gigs has been quiet across the entirety of social media?
Indeed, yeah, indeed. Throughout
January.
It's definitely a choice thing, isn't it?
Like,
is it Instagram still there? Is it back?
No, it's gone.
No, he deactivated his account or something like that.
It's got,
my mum found that out as well. Mum's so cool. You're cool, you know, mate. You're really cool. She was searching it up and she said, gigs, he ain't got an account. I'm like, I didn't know that.
Like, it's just like, I think this is just my assumption because I ain't spoken to him. I ain't spoken to any of his brothers. I ain't spoken to any of them. So unless I go and speak to them, the insight isn't there. And it just feels weird hollering at him and going, why are you not on social media, bro? Like, if he doesn't want to be there, you don't want to be there.
Yeah, that's it.
At the same time, I look at it and I think it seemed like we got to a point where people kept mentioning his name when they had issues with people. And it got to a point where you could see it was starting to piss him off. If you look at the lives that he was doing, he'd be talking about the stuff he's working on, but you could see it was like, you could see he's at a point in his life where it's like, I don't want to be concerned with that or think about that or be involved in that or talk about that.
Yeah.
Been there, done that for most of my life, don't really want to do it. And it kept happening. The last thing I remember is Wiley saying something and then mentioning his name and him telling Wiley don't do that. Or I think Twitter or Instagram. And the whole him and I don't know if it was Crept.
Yeah, but that was a while back, wasn't it?
And but it's like, I'm looking at it from the perspective of it built. He released whatever project, his last project that he released, and then just went offline. Yeah, but he went completely offline. It wasn't like Stormzy, where Stormzy disappeared off of certain selective social media, but was elsewhere. It just seems like he's completely.
Yeah, he'll come back though. I think he'll come back. I think obviously he needed a break. I think he's probably because COVID. To be fair, COVID took a lot out of a lot of people, so he's probably thinking, let me just chill.
But I'll be looking forward to seeing what he drops. Definitely. I don't know if you lot saw Gets and Skepta's tune, IC3.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
And obviously they got the video for that. I feel like what's happened in this COVID situation is for a lot of artists, it's brought out a focus on lyricism. And almost like a conscious shift in direction in what is being talked about by certain artists, that it's not that it wasn't there, it's just it wasn't a main feature. But if you look at a lot of what Gets has done over the past year and a half, maybe 2 years, is very much shifted. Yeah. Skepta is very much shifted. Yeah. And there was a Newham talk that Kano did with Gets, and they were talking about the impact of COVID on how they kind of perceive music. It was interesting. I definitely recommend, if you ain't seen it, to check that out. Because it was just a welcome conversation of the way that they were talking about music, their perception of it, where they see things going musically because of the fact that there are no venues really operating. So artists can't really focus on making club bangers because what they're going to do with a club banger in COVID. So now the ones who are more lyrically inclined, this is the period where they're going to really see an uplift in their careers. I don't know if you agree with that, but that was the takeaway that I got from that discussion.
Gotcha. Yeah, I definitely have to have a look at that.
Definitely go and check that out. All right, so I know we got to close out. What can we take away? What positive message can we send out in terms of how situations like what we've discussed are best handled, especially when especially like, you know, Fabs, from your experience as a person who has built yourself to where you built to, and there's always people looking to tear you down from that space. What things would you say you would advise someone following in your footsteps or something similar? What would you advise them put in those situations?
I would say they just need to be consistent. If you're not doing no wrong and you're doing your work, just keep consistent. And I think you know, that's kind of my advice to anyone who is going through hatred and all that sort of stuff. And then obviously take yourself away, innit? If it's too much for your mental state, for your emotional state, take yourself away from this social media situation. Put your phone down. A lot of people don't know. Like I post up a lot in the morning. I put my phone down for the whole day. You get what I mean? Unless someone calls me, I don't go on my phone as much as people think it is. Like I put my phone, actually really put my phone down from social media just to give myself that space.
That's powerful.
So, yeah. But I mean, in terms of the music between Chip and Stormzy, I like them both. I think they're both incredible artists. I just said, like I said before, keep it peaceful. People are talking about it. People are excited. For the art of music is good as a battle, but keep it on record and we're all good. Peace and love to them both.
Yep, I co-sign. Sasha, how about yourself from perspective of how someone can, obviously, like, following on from what Fabs has said, and obviously based on the question I asked, how would you say from a self-management perspective, what tips would you give based on that?
My takeaway on this whole thing is get your ego in check.
Love that.
And understand what it means to have an ego. And I mean that because so many people, they will say I'm humble and all the rest of it, but they're not. They're not. And things will come out which will test them, and then that ego will come crashing right through and it will reveal a lot about them.
Gotcha.
So get to understand what that ego looks like and understand how to keep that balance in the right place. And that's what I would say about that.
I co-sign that.
I love that. 100% co-sign. 200% co-sign that, man. Yes.
300.
Okay, I add my little bit. From the perspective of music and what music means to us as people, I just want to see more music come out of this. Like, I don't care about the beef side of it. I would love to just see Stormzy just do something clever with this, but musically. Yeah, I want to see something clever, but musically. And I know he's got it in him. Obviously, he's a very clever guy considering where he's got himself to. And I hope that these two can make peace, because at one point they were at peace, regardless of egos. So that's what I'd like to see. And I'd like to see more beautiful content from them. And I feel like a collaboration from those two would be powerful. Based on what their lyrical capability is, I feel like they could bounce very well off each other on the track. So it's a shame, like, that we are seeing things the way it is. But as you both said, you know, it's about being able to separate yourself from what's going on. It's being able to put your phone down from time to time. It's being able to refocus your mind. It's about not letting keeping your ego in check, as Sasha said. And it's just about remembering where you're going. Yeah, remembering where you're going, remember who you're serving. Like, I feel like as long as that's remembered, I feel like this can get back on track. And I feel like anyone in a situation like this, on whatever scale it might be, if they're seeing this, I hope that they can take away, obviously, what's been said here and use this to redefine how they approach situations so they can reframe and do things in a more positive way. If they're doing things currently in a negative way, that's going to bring harm to them and those around them. That's what I add to this. But I'm glad we could have this conversation and get back together. For those of you watching this video, I'm always going to say this. It's just always going to be said, so get used to it. If you've enjoyed this conversation, show us. Get jumping into the comments. Yeah, leave a comment. Let us know what you feel about these situations. You know, what your takeaways from this. Even share your own tips in the comments. Like, this is an open forum. Make sure that you like this video as well if you appreciate what we've discussed. Most importantly, subscribe and hit the notifications bell as well, so that you're always front of the queue to see our content, and share this amongst friends who you think would appreciate this. This has been another Then Everything After podcast. This is your boy Amax.
Chantel.
And Franklin, aka the King of Trainers. See you next time. Peace.
Peace.